I've officially come to the conclusion that all CO2 systems are trash. Alright, not every single one, but there definitely is a lot around. And I have had some pretty sort of mixed experiences with CO2 systems, but today might be the change. I think the bigger question is, are there actually any cheap CO2 systems that are decent around? Most of them are ridiculous prices, and for the average fish keeper like myself, you just can't warrant the price for them. So I went online and purchased myself this, which is the Fluval CO2 kit. It's the 45 gram pressurized one. It's a mini canister, but it's a pressurized system, so hopefully it works better than say the DIY ones, or the ones where you push a can at the top there and it sort of sprays CO2 in. So yeah, let's check it out. So for transparency, this kit was bought by my own money. It wasn't gifted to me, so yeah, we're going to check it out. So let's have a look inside the box here. Bearing in mind I ripped the box when I opened the packaging earlier on today. So this is the system itself. There's nothing else in the box. Obviously the box is just your sort of standard one, and it's not a really thick cardboard. And this is what you get inside. So you've got, let's have a look, you've got some air tubing there that's sort of connected to this. You got your instructions here, sort of tells you how to set up the kit in different languages, etc, etc. I've done a bit of research on this one, and I'm told that the instructions on this are quite bad, and that it's best to follow videos on the internet, YouTube for example, and various other different places. But yeah, don't think it's too bad to set up. But in terms of product, I mean, this is supposed to be new, and I mean, I don't know if it is new. I mean, it was sealed, but maybe it's just a stick on there. But yeah, essentially you get these pressurized little cans. Now I think the refills are quite expensive on this, so it's not a cheap thing, but you get this little plastic mount, which is pretty decent, I guess. You get this right here, which is a bubble counter. So essentially this tells you how fast the CO2 is being injected into the aquarium, so you can use that as a bubble count. Here you have a ceramic diffuser. This is not the most attractive thing. I know you can buy ones online which are like metal or clear ones, so yeah, I think if you were to keep this long term, maybe you'd change it, but I haven't tried it out yet, so can't write it off just yet. But essentially this is what diffuses all of the CO2 and makes small little bubbles inside your aquarium. And this is your check valve, so it tells you on here the PSI pressure that you have coming out, and yeah, here you go, you can control the amount of gas that comes out, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's get it hooked up to the aquarium and yeah, see what it's all about. So for those that follow my channel, I am not one for massively aquascaped aquariums. I do like to try them now and then, but this is just I don't know really, I mean, it's got my bumblebee gobies in here. It was originally a mangrove type tank, but I since sort of put loads of different plants in it. I kind of had a bit of a layout going on, and it's gone a bit wild. I've sort of put some different plants in there that I had grown in pots. Some have died, some have come back to life, but yeah, I want to see if I can grow some. And yeah, I'm going to use the system in this one because this is the most planted, so hopefully we'll be able to see a difference, especially with like plants like this where there's not really much growth to it, and we can see then if there is some dramatic improvements on some of the stuff, especially the plants at the back here and stuff, so it'd be pretty cool. I've got some crypts in there as well, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with this tank. Alright, so essentially what we do first is we take this, the valve, and make sure it's turned tightly to the left, I think it is, and then it is just a case of screwing it on top of this system here, and hopefully nothing goes bang or anything. And it feels nice and tight on the system. Then on the video you go in on the left side here, so you do this one, and then that one is your output there. You have to cut the tube in to go from the CO2 system into the check valve and then out into the aquarium.
So long.
Alright, for the next bit, I've seen two different ways of doing this. I've seen that this bit can be put inside the aquarium, and I've also seen on Fluval's YouTube channel that they put this on the outside of the aquarium. But essentially what you need to do is make sure that this bit is filled up with water prior to turning on the CO2, because that's how you check the bubbles in the tank. Alright then, so not the most glamorous, but it's just an example to show you, and I'm going to tidy it up later. So I've got the pipe in there. I'm going to put the CO2 there, the diffuser there, just so we can see what it looks like. And obviously you've got the canister here. So if I now turn it on slightly, I'm hoping that, yeah, there you go, you can see like it says that you should do 1 to 2, I think it's 1 to 2 bubbles on your CO2 system there, 1 to 2 a second, and then hopefully we'll see the CO2 coming out into the tank. I feel like I need to put it on a bit more stronger maybe. And there you go, you can see the bubbles on the way out. And yeah, I mean, it's injecting quite a lot of CO2. I think I will turn it down in a minute just to see, but you can see what has happened there. And essentially the best thing for CO2 systems is to make sure you've got lots of flow. So I will be getting the filtration sorted on this to make sure that there is some flow in this, so it just distributes the CO2 around. But I mean, if it had the pressure like that, it's going to go wild in here. But yeah, we'll sort of see how it goes. What I'm going to do is just have a bit of a play with it and then come back in a few minutes. Alright guys, so after about an hour now of playing around with this, I'm finding that this is quite difficult to use. This is so stiff, this valve, and if you turn it ever so slightly though, the bubble counter just goes through the roof, and it obviously releases loads of CO2. So to try and get the balance, what it's saying is that you should have 1 bubble every 2 seconds. And when I watch the videos on YouTube, the diffuser is supposed to be going crazy right now with very fine bubbles, but as you can see here, I'm just getting a few big bubbles. So I'm going to go and have a play with it, and then I think in a few weeks time I'm going to come back with my findings. Alright guys, so it has been 4 weeks to the day today since I started using the CO2 system on this aquarium, and as you can see, the plants have taken really nicely to the CO2. I wouldn't say that there's massive growth, but obviously a lot of these plants weren't in from the get-go, so we would have to give them a bit of time and everything. But I have noticed there's been quite a bit of growth here. This has taken off, the crypts seem like really healthy, and this rotala here is definitely growing a lot as well, and obviously the sessiflora on the left here. So yeah, it does seem to be doing the job. I actually do like this kit, to be honest. It's pretty nifty. It's cool, it's a bit more sort of user friendly, I'd say. You've got the regulator at the top there that gives the pressure, and this canister has literally just come to its end. So that was a 45 kilogram one. So it's lasted approximately a month, as you can see. I won't lie to you, I've had it on pretty much consistently the entire time. I've tried to keep the lights on as much as possible during that time, because obviously CO2 doesn't work great when the lights are off, but I wanted to keep it as consistent as possible and see how long the bottle actually lasted. So as you can see, if you keep it on pretty much all the time, you get about 4 weeks out of it. I'd say you probably double it if you have less time with the lights on and actually turn it off. Obviously the only thing that I found is it's a bit of a pain having to keep turning the nozzle every time you want to turn off the CO2. That is one downside to these little systems here, but that is most CO2 systems for you, so they're going to have their downfalls, but it definitely works a lot better, I find, than the DIY kind of kits where you mix like a bit of solution with some water and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good so far. The one thing that I wasn't particularly too keen was this diffuser here. It looks a bit bulky and not very nice, but yeah, the only thing that I found is, although the videos online show that the bubbles sort of diffuse really small, this one I just couldn't get to work properly, and it just diffused quite big bubbles, and I wanted the really fine stuff. But not to say that you probably wouldn't get one that works, but I found the one that I've got from a company called CO2 Art. That diffuser there seemed to have diffused the bubbles really well. As you can see, there's none left now. The tank is pretty much empty of CO2, so you're gonna have to get another canister and get another one going. But I've much preferred that one to the one that comes with the kit. Regarding lighting and everything, this is just using a basic sort of LED. It's nothing fancy, it's not like a full spectrum LED light strip in this Tetra aquarium. It is just the normal one that comes with it. So all I'm using to dose is that CO2 kit, and also some Profito by a company called Easy Life in terms of fertilizer, adding a little bit of iron every now and then just for the coloration of the red plants. But apart from that, the CO2 is the only thing that I'm using. In terms of price, this kit is pitched at around £40 online, and I'll be honest, when you get the additional cartridges, you can get a pack of 3, and that's also £40, so it is fairly pricey for what it is. But I guess they are little easy canisters, and you can kind of screw them in and get going straight away, as opposed to sort of mixing a solution. Well, I am pretty impressed with the kit. I think that barring the diffuser really, but the regulator that you get is quite nice, and it is handy having those little cartridges. I think I've got an idea to save some money on that, but I'll save that for another video. But yeah, I mean, for a quick and easy sort of low budget alternative to the big canisters of CO2 that you can buy, it's not a bad product, to be honest. Enjoyed this video? If you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what your experience of the CO2 kit in the comments below. If you want to check out more reviews, then hit the link here, and if you want to help support the channel, there's a link in the description below. And until next time, you stay safe.